So in this crazy market, one specific thing is coming up time and time again, and that's appraisals. We're going to talk about appraisals and what you need to know if you're a buyer or seller in today's market. Now, I promise you this is not going to be a snooze fest. You have to understand what appraisals are doing in this marketplace if you're a seller, because it's going to impact the amount of money that you're going to be able to sell your home for. And if you're a buyer, this is something that you absolutely have to understand, because it could be the difference between getting your dream home or not getting it. So let's get started. So an appraisal is an opinion of value. If you're a buyer obtaining financing, or if you're going to be selling your house, the buyer is going to end up getting an appraisal on your property. The buyer's lender is going to require that a third party is going to come out, measure out the whole property, take notes about the property, and also do their own analysis of what they think the home is worth. Okay, so if in fact the buyer's obtaining financing, they're always going to get an appraisal. And even if they remove the appraisal contingency from the deal, which we'll get into next, they still have to get an appraisal if in fact they're getting a loan. So the reason why appraisals are such a hot topic in today's marketplace is because the values are appreciating so fast that the appraisals cannot keep up with what's happening with the values. So what does this mean if you're a seller? Well, if an appraiser cannot keep up with the values that are the appreciating values in this marketplace, that means that if you list your house for a price that's higher than what the recent comps are selling for, and let's say you list your house for $700,000 and all the comps around the neighborhood are at $650,000, for example. And let's say you get a buyer that says, I'll gladly pay you $700,000. Well, within the contract, there's a clause that's called an appraisal contingency. And this means that the appraisal has to come in at that $700,000 price. Well, in a traditional negotiation, once the appraiser brings their value back, if that price does not reflect the contract price of $700,000, then in a traditional marketplace, you're actually going back to the negotiation table and trying to work out a happy medium on what the buyer and seller are willing to pay for it. Now, in this marketplace, that's not what you want to do if you're a seller. Your trusted real estate advisor should be able to negotiate some sort of ability to remove that appraisal contingency from the contract so that you're able to get the price that you originally were hoping for, again, from the example sake of $700,000. So what I'm trying to communicate is that if you're a seller, you should be able to negotiate that clause out of the deal, and that way you're able to get the price that you ultimately want. What we're observing is that more buyers are willing to remove this clause from the agreement because that's what they have to do in order to be strongly considered in order to get their offer accepted. So I get it. If you're a buyer, that's really tough information to hear. You're wondering, well, where the heck are all these buyers getting this extra money from? And I totally understand. And believe you me, no one wants to pay more than an asking price, right? No one is wanting to put themselves in a position where they have to pay above the appraised value. But what we're observing is that in order to be successful in this marketplace, you have to be positioned, or you have to be prepared to do something, whether that's A, remove the appraisal contingency completely if you're the buyer, or B, offer some sort of cap, which would mean that you agree to a certain amount above and beyond the appraisal. Something that I wanted to also suggest is that you sit down with your trusted mortgage advisor and make sure, or there might be ways to strategically approach a negotiation based on the down payment that you're coming in with. Okay, so I'd highly recommend that you do that. But I just want to make sure that it's clear that in this marketplace, with multiple offers across the board, only until we see that demand decrease slightly, I need to make sure that you understand that if you're a buyer, you have to be ready for that appraisal shortage or being able to address that issue, because it's the number one issue that's coming up in today's market. So if you have any questions about your particular situation, or if you would like to talk more about how appraisals work, do me a favor, reach out to me directly. All my contact information is below. I'd be happy to answer any specific questions. And if you have any other real estate questions, please do reach out. I really appreciate you guys watching. Again, this is Cervantez. Thanks so much and have a great day.